Yo, what's up guys? This is Unpunk bringing you a video here today on how you complete the main Easter egg on Into the Storm, the first map within the Tortured Path for DLC 3 of Call of Duty World War II. If you guys do go along to enjoy this video, it'd be super awesome if you could show the support with a comment down below or a like. That'd be super awesome. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. So of course you guys are probably going to have an understanding of how the objective rounds, the map works, and all of that good stuff. If you guys don't, make sure to check out some of my videos on my channel. I got explanations of how all that works, as well as a pack-punch guide, which you're going to need to know how that works so that you can do this Easter egg. This Easter egg is pretty tricky. I'm not gonna lie, it takes quite a few tries, and if you mess up little things, you have to restart the entire map. But don't let that get you down, because it's very quick and easy to get right back up to speed of where you guys were. First off, what you're gonna have to do is collect zombie parts around the map. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk you through all the locations I know off the top of my head and show you what part would be in each location and explain which one it is would be. If you guys are still confused, can't find parts, anything like that, I'll have a link down in the description of my buddy's channel so you can see his full guide on it. So when you go in, right on this house on the left, you're going to see that there could be a torso or a body right in the chimney section there. An arm can spawn on that basket. You'll see the head is here, and it can spawn right here. You're going to need 2 arms, you're going to need 2 legs, a torso, and a head to complete this zombie. It's very similar to Attack of the Radioactive thing. Right there can spawn a leg in the wine cellars area. If you go right up here, this is another leg spawn right on the truck, which you obviously see the leg there. All severed zombie parts, so don't be surprised or shocked there. A zombie leg can spawn right in there. Easily shoot to light it up so you can see if it is. If you can't see, because it blends in very well. Right in between these 2 posts can be a arm. It's pretty awesome how they hid some of these little things, and it's pretty cool how many locations they have, because it gives a little variety for us players, but it's not overly complicated. Right there you'll see that there could be a leg, there isn't one there, and a torso can spawn right up in that corner, but didn't in this game. Also, this map gets a little tricky on the early rounds because a lot of zombies spawn in at once, so make sure you guys are being cautious. Right there I just shot can be a arm spot. I believe it's an arm. It's an arm or a leg. Just keep an eye out to look which one it is. Right on that little pillar or the one next to it can spawn a leg as well, and this one can spawn the head if you haven't found it elsewhere, like I already did in my game. There's a few more spots I'm going to show you guys real quick before we move on to the next step. I believe an arm or leg will spawn there. I'm pretty sure it's the arm spawn, as well as an arm spawn can be right here in between these pieces of wood, right on the top. They're all pretty easy to spot when you look at them, so it's just finding the area first. An arm, of course, can spawn right here in the fireplace. Where else? A head can spawn right on top of the bookcase there. You can get a leg, which you see right there on that. An arm can spawn in the bed of flowers, and the torso can spawn right there. There's a couple more locations that you'll see if you check the link down in the description to my buddy Daz's guide. It's going to give you a lot more detail on all of these. I didn't want to waste too much of your time if you guys already knew this step. Alright, so the next step is going to be collecting this little piece of rope. Pretty easy to do. You just go over right behind the windmill, shoot it right on off. Once you've done that, it's going to carry it down the river a little bit, and you're going to see that it's going to end up by a little piece of tree. It gets snagged on a piece of tree. What you're going to want to do, though, of course, is make sure you have a gun. You're going to want to grab an SMG at the first couple of rounds, so that way you guys can protect yourself. I recommend an SMG with buying an assault rifle around 4 or 5, probably around about 4. And make sure you buy perks in between that time. Basically, all you're going to have to do is see that tree branch there. You're just going to have to hold square, and it's going to pull it up. You're going to want to be a little bit to the left of it, though, because the hitbox is a little funky if you're right on it. You're just going to hold it to the left. It's going to pull it up all magically, look all funky and weird, and then you're just going to grab the rope right off. That's the easy next step, which is going to get your zombie ready to go on the windmill. Now here comes the good part. This part of the Easter egg is probably one of the most tedious. Of course, you're going to want to be doing this with 2 or more players, because solo would just be absolutely outrageous. This is like the DE clock tower step, but a little bit more simplistic. So you're gonna need a zombie arm, or specifically a Woosling's arm, and you're gonna need to get it off a Woosling by dropping it with a bomb. So you're gonna need to use bomb zombie bombs. So knock the bombs off the bomb zombies without killing or detonating the bombs rather. Pile them up around the map on round 4 and 5. When you get your Wooslings on round 5, start killing one of the Wooslings with the bombs only, and he's going to drop his arm. You then pick that up, and you can use that in the gear mechanism inside the windmill, so that way you can stop the windmill at any time you want. As you see, we were calling it out. I was calling it to my player that was standing inside the windmill. You want to get it perfectly up and down with this specific one. It's going to be the one that looks the most full and has some rope on it. You're just going to want to look at your windmill and make sure it's the correct one. As you see there, I just pulled out the Woosling's arm so that way it can continue to spin. We missed it the first time, so what I did is I'm skipped ahead. It took us about 10 tries in this game, honestly, to get this done, and I had attempted this Easter egg about 30 times before I actually got it complete and had to restart quite a while. It took me about 6 hours to get this done once the steps were really solved. Once you get it right, it's going to land perfectly like that, and you're going to be able to place the zombie on there with these 2 lightning rods. If you don't know where the lightning rods are, once you have collected all the previous parts for the rest of the guide that I've already shown you, right next to the dead cow and next to the car and radio where you first spawn in, there's going to be a drop pod that is the same from the Shadowed Throne, and you're just going to need to grab 2 giant nails that are sticking out of the ground. You cannot miss them. They're going to be right out of the ground. You grab them, place the zombie on this windmill, and then you turn the windmill back on and get it exactly the opposite of what it just was. If you did it right, you're going to end round 5, specifically going to want to be on round 5. You're going to see lightning strike the rods and electrify, knock that zombie down. You can hear an awesome face planting noise. Really, really cool, and I'm super, super happy they added a kind of quirkiness to this. And sometimes he will even spawn with a pan on his head, which you saw in the beginning. Once you're done with that, you're going to progress on to round 6. Skip that round. Go ahead and do what you need to do. Do your objective based, because the zombie will sit there on the ground for that entire round 6. Don't worry if you collect souls on them. It's not going to harm anything for the rest of the Easter egg. But this next step is very important, and make sure you're set up with good weapons. You're not going to have Pack-a-Punch yet, but make sure you have good weapons. An assault rifle, SMG. Make sure you have some hearts, some shell shock with sustain zones, some frontline to keep the zombies away, and possibly even some free fire Mark II so that way you can have some extra damage if you need it. This zombie you're just escorting. It's pretty standard stuff here. You've done this a lot of times before. But if this zombie gets hit, I want to say 3 times by regular zombies, by 2 bombers or more, or by a single Woosling hit, he will die and your entire run is over. You have to scrap it, forfeit your game, and start brand new. Go collect all the parts and do every single step again, so make sure you're very, very cautious. As you can see, one of the players throwing free fire, he's got his Mark IIs and he's keeping it protected. You're going to just let the zombie go in. Right next to the fireplace in here, he's going to walk on in and he's going to go crawl in a hole. That's perfectly normal. Let him go in the hole and finish off the rest of round 7. You're going to want to have 3 players protecting him if you're in a 4-player game, and have 1 player go on over to the last Pack-a-Punch part so that you can charge it and get that ready to go. You're going to need to get Pack-a-Punch ready to go and finished before you end round 7. Again, I recommend keeping Wooslings anytime you need to keep around. They're the easiest zombie to keep because they're very, very slow, and they count as a round zombie in the Tortured Path. Sorry, almost got the wrong name there. So make sure you guys are keeping a zombie. Get your Pack-a-Punch, get your guys' perks set up, because you're not going to be able to get these during the next round because you're going to be defending that zombie once more, but it's going to be a little more complicated. So yeah, just make sure you're set up, ready to go, and then proceed to round 8 whenever you guys are ready. You're then going to go where the zombie was previously, just went in this little tiny hole to the right side. You'll see right there next to that little rocking horse. The zombie crawls in there at 1 round, and then when you complete the round, he crawls out during the next round with a battery. The same exact battery style that you saw on the Shadowed Throne for the Wunderbuss, which is super, super awesome. I mean, I guess some people would be disappointed that it's reused texture, but in this case, I think it's great because it makes a lot of sense logically to how batteries and such work. You're then going to need to escort this guy down to the wine cellar where he's going to put his battery in. You're going to be able to obtain the Hilt of Barbarossa, which we have gotten from the original map, the Final Reich's Hardcore Easter egg. Once you do this, though, you're going to need to make sure your team is ready to go. Pack-a-punched 9mm saps I would recommend as an absolute must, with 1911s as a secondary is a great option, as well as some kind of LMG assault rifle, something along those lines if you can afford it. You're going to need to be very, very careful because those Westlins can still one-hit this guy if they hit him, so be very, very cautious. But during this entire time, you're going to be noticing souls are collecting into his hand in the battery. You're going to need to get a lot of kills. They're going to need to be close to him, but you can't have him get hit, so it can be very, very tricky. So make sure you're using frontline, make sure you're using shell shock if you need to, a sustain zone like you see. Throwing on insta-kills is an absolutely amazing way to get through this a lot easier, so that way you're knocking all the zombies down basically immediately and they're charging it up. We luckily finished it right about here, so we were pounding it out really early on the soul collection, but I had one game where I didn't get it completed, and I got him all the way down to the bottom, and he died right at where he was supposed to die, but instead of dropping the battery like he was supposed to, the battery just disappeared because he didn't have enough souls, is to my understanding. He could have just had a glitch. I know there is a little bit of a glitch, so if the battery drops and you guys don't get it at the end, you guys are unfortunately going to have to redo it until they patch it. Cameron Dayton and Sledgehammer said they're working on it, and they're trying to figure it out right now. So hopefully, again, in a couple of days, they'll have that fixed. So if you guys aren't getting it right off the bat, you can't afford to keep redoing it. Just tough it out for a couple days, wait, and you guys will be able to get it right after. But basically, this last part is pretty simple. If you guys are throwing jacks, that's awesome once the souls are completely filled up, and you can be doing whatever you need to keep the zombies off him. He takes about the longest path, as always in these games, with the Westling from the Darkest Shore taking one of the longest paths possible. But he's just going to drop right in front of here. You're going to put the battery, which will be outlined in green if it successfully works and you successfully charged all of it. You're going to put it right in the thing. It's going to open up the door. You're going to get the hilt, and then you're going to want to just finish the map off. You're going to need to complete wave 10, beat the boss, escape the map, and all of your progress will save. You'll get your camo either way, but make sure you guys beat that boss. Otherwise, you won't be able to use this progress for future maps. This has been Unpunk. We'll see you guys real soon.